All right, so let's dive into Grocery Outlet's Q3 2024 earnings call.
Sounds good.
We've got the transcript here and some stock info.
Okay.
And looks like it's been a bit of a roller coaster for them this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of break down what's going on and what it all means for you, the astute investor.
You know, Grocery Outlet is a really fascinating case study.
Mm-hmm.
They've got this really unique business model all built around opportunistic buying,
Okay.
scooping up surplus, closeout, and overstock items to offer shoppers some really incredible deals. It's not your typical grocery store experience. It's more like a treasure hunt.
And speaking of treasure hunts, let's talk stock action. So Grocery Outlet closed at $14.56 on November 5th, up just over 1% for the day.
All right.
But then after hours, things got really interesting, jumped to $15.25, nearly a 5% increase. What's driving that after hours surge?
Well, the big news is the leadership shakeup. R.J. Sheedy stepped down as CEO. And Eric Lindberg, who was actually the CEO before Sheedy, is back at the helm.
Interesting.
So it's a bit of a homecoming.
Okay.
And it definitely signals a shift in direction for the company.
It's like a blast from the past. Lindberg's back in the driver's seat.
That's right.
But he's stepping into a situation with some serious challenges. The company has been wrestling with some major technology issues.
Yeah. In August 2023, they switched over to a new system called SAP.
Okay.
And it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing. Think slow speeds, lost functionality, and just general headaches across the board.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about some IT inconvenience.
Oh, yeah.
This system is the backbone of their operations. It affects everything from how they buy goods to how those independently operated stores manage inventory and place orders.
So this tech transition has basically thrown a wrench into their entire operation.
Exactly. And for Grocery Outlet, this is especially problematic because their whole brand is built around offering incredible deals.
They aim for a whopping 40% savings compared to traditional grocery stores.
Wow.
And about 20% savings versus other discounters.
Okay.
To achieve that, they meticulously track their value proposition. They even keep tabs on key commodity items, like milk and eggs, to make sure their prices are in line with the deep discounters.
Makes sense.
They track what percentage of their sales come from items that are 60% cheaper than what you'd find at conventional retailers.
Wow, that's intense.
It's a whole science dedicated to bargain hunting.
So how has this tech mess affected their ability to, deliver on that promise of deep discounts?
Well, the system issues have caused disruption throughout their supply chain, leading to some pricing inconsistencies and delays. They've admitted that earlier this year, they actually prioritized profit margins over maintaining their usual low prices.
Really?
Partly due to the system chaos and partly due to some deliberate pricing decisions.
Interesting.
But you could see how that would create a problem
for
a company known for its rock bottom prices.
Yeah, imagine being known for incredible bargains and then suddenly you're not. It's got to be tough to recover from that kind of perception shift, especially in such a competitive landscape.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this next part so interesting.
Okay.
Despite all these hurdles, Grocery Outlets still managed double-digit top-line sales growth.
Wow.
Plus, they've been steadily opening new stores. This suggests that the underlying business model is pretty robust, but it also makes you wonder, how much better could they be doing if they weren't grappling with these self-inflicted wounds?
That's a great point. It's like they're running a marathon with a sprained ankle.
Exactly. So now the question is, can Lindberg get them back on track?
Well, from what we've seen so far, it seems like he's all about getting back to basics.
Absolutely. He's emphasized the importance of delivering amazing value.
Supporting those independent operators. And finally, squashing those pesky system bugs. He's even hinted that some strategic initiatives might be put on hold while they focus on these core areas. It's a classic back to basics approach.
So it's like hitting the reset button and refocusing on what made Grocery Outlet successful in the first place.
Precisely. They need to solidify their foundation before they can really take things to the next level. Now, whether or not this will be enough to regain their treasure hunt magic and fend off the competition, well, that remains to be seen.
This is where things get really interesting, right?
Absolutely, because even though they're dealing with these challenges, their performance suggests they're not down for the count just yet.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about what Lindberg's return might signal about the company's future. You mentioned earlier that he was CEO before Sheedy, right?
That's right. He was CEO from 2006 to 2018. And during that time, grocery outlets saw significant expansion. They went from a regional chain to a national player, and their store count more than tripled. So he's got a track record of success with this company.
So this isn't just some random executive being parachuted in. He knows the business inside and out.
Exactly. And his return could signal a renewed focus on the strategies that worked during his previous tenure.
Like
Aggressive store expansion, and a laser focus on value.
Right.
That being said, the grocery landscape has changed a lot since 2018, so it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to the current environment.
It's like he's coming back to a familiar battlefield, but the terrain has shifted.
Exactly. He's got experience, but he's also going to need to be adaptable and innovative to navigate the challenges ahead.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Leadership changes, tech issues, the value proposition, and even some historical context about Lindberg's previous tenure as CEO. But what does this all mean for the average investor? What should they be paying attention to?
Well, I think the key takeaway here is that grocery outlet is at a crossroads.
Okay.
They've got some serious work to do to regain their footing. But they also have a lot of potential.
Okay.
If Lindberg can successfully execute his back to basics plan,
right,
and address the system issues, they could be poised for a significant rebound. But if they fail to adapt to the changing market and regain their competitive edge, they could continue to struggle.
So it's a wait and see situation.
Yeah.
But there are some key indicators to keep an eye on.
Exactly. Pay attention to things like their same store sales growth, their ability to control costs, and their progress on fixing the system issues. Those will be the key metrics to watch in the coming quarters.
Great advice. Now, before we move on, I just want to remind everyone that this is not financial advice. We're just two podcast hosts sharing our thoughts and observations.
Absolutely. Do your own research, consult with a financial professional, and make informed decisions based on your individual circumstances.
All right, so now it's time for my favorite part of the show. The This Is Not Financial Advice segment.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, so imagine this, just for fun. Lindberg gets those systems issues sorted out. Their value proposition comes roaring back, and shoppers flock to grocery outlet for those incredible deals.
Okay.
The stock price starts to climb. And then, out of nowhere, a major player, like, say, Amazon, swoops in and makes a bid to acquire them.
Whoa, now that's a bold prediction, but I can see the logic. Grocery outlets' footprint and customer loyalty would be very attractive to a company like Amazon.
Right.
They've been trying to crack the grocery market for years, and this would give them a powerful entry point.
Right. It would give them a nationwide network of stores, a well-established brand known for value, and a loyal customer base that's already comfortable shopping for groceries in a treasure hunt style environment. Could be a perfect fit.
It's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. If grocery outlet can get back on track, they could become a prime acquisition target.
Exactly. But again, and I can't stress this enough, this is just pure speculation. Do not make investment decisions based on our wild fantasies.
Please don't. We're just having a little fun here, exploring the possibilities.
Right. This is all purely hypothetical. But it does highlight the potential upside if grocery outlet can execute its turnaround successfully.
Absolutely. This deep dive has shown us that even in the midst of chaos, there are always opportunities for those who know where to look. And grocery outlet's story is far from over.
Couldn't agree more. All right, listeners, that's part one of our deep dive into grocery outlet's Q3 earnings call. Stay tuned for part two, where we'll explore some key takeaways from the Q&A session.
We'll be back in a flash. Welcome back to our deep dive into grocery outlet's Q3 earnings call. You know, as we dig into the Q&A portion of this call, it becomes even clearer how these system issues have really been a major thorn in grocery outlet side. It's fascinating how this seemingly technical issue has created ripples throughout their entire business model.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've got this new system that's supposed to streamline operations, but instead it's created a cascade of challenges impacting everything from their buying power to their relationships with those independent operators.
Exactly. And remember, grocery outlet success hinges on their ability to offer those rock bottom prices,
Right.
which is directly tied to their buying strategy. Their whole model is based on snatching up surplus goods
Yeah.
and passing those savings on to the customer. But with these system issues, it seems like they've had trouble maintaining the efficiency and agility they need to make that happen consistently.
So it's not just about, slow computers and software glitches. It's about how those glitches translate into real world problems that that directly impact their ability to deliver on their core value proposition.
Precisely. And during the Q&A, analysts were understandably keen to dig into this further. They were pressing for details on how these systems issues impacted inventory management, pricing decisions, and even the communication between grocery outlet and those independent operators who are, let's face it, the lifeblood of their business model.
And what did we learn from those exchanges? Did grocery outlet shed any light on how they plan to, untangle this mess and restore their reputation for those killer deals?
Well, they acknowledge the challenges and emphasize their commitment to resolving the issues.
Okay.
I talked about the steps they're taking to improve the system's functionality, optimize their inventory management processes, and enhance communication with their independent operators.
Mm-hmm.
But as you might expect, there were no quick fixes offered. It's going to take time and effort to get things back on track.
It sounds like they're trying to strike a balance between acknowledging the problems and reassuring investors that they have a handle on the situation. But actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
Right? Investors are gonna want to see concrete results, not just promises.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another key point that emerged from the Q&A, the delicate balancing act between maintaining their value proposition
Right.
and achieving profitability. Grocery Outlet admitted that earlier this year they prioritized margin over value in some cases,
Interesting.
which, as we've discussed, created a bit of a perception problem for them.
It's interesting because they're operating in a space where price is paramount. Their entire brand identity is built on being the treasure hunt destination for bargain shoppers. So even a slight shift away from that could have a ripple effect.
Exactly, and it seems like they've realized that. They emphasized during the Q&A that they're now refocusing on delivering that incredible value that customers have come to expect, even if it means sacrificing a bit on the margin side in the short term.
So it's a classic case of course correction.
Yeah.
They veered a bit off course, perhaps due to those system issues and some strategic decisions.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to steer the ship back towards their core values.
Precisely. And that's what makes Lindberg's return so intriguing. He's got a history of success with this company.
Right.
He understands their unique model, and he's coming in with a clear back to basics approach. It'll be fascinating to see how he navigates these challenges and whether he can restore Grocery Outlet to its former glory.
That's like a seasoned captain stepping back onto a familiar ship. But the waters have gotten a bit choppy.
Exactly. He's got the experience, but he'll need all his skills to navigate this storm. And the Q&A also gave us some insights into the timeline for finding a permanent CEO, which is another key element of this turnaround story.
Right, because Lindberg is currently serving as interim CEO. So what's the latest on the search for a permanent leader?
Well, they indicated that the search is ongoing.
Okay.
And that they're looking for someone with a proven track record of success in the retail industry, ideally with experience in scaling operations.
Right.
That makes sense given their ambitious growth plans.
So they're looking for someone who can not only steer the ship through these current challenges, but also guide them towards a future of continued expansion.
Exactly. Someone who can balance their unique treasure hunt model with the demands of a rapidly evolving retail landscape.
It's a tall order.
It is.
But if they can find the right person, someone who understands the nuances of their business and the needs of their loyal customer base, it could be a game changer.
Absolutely. Now, another aspect that came up during the Q&A, and this is something that often gets overlooked in these discussions, is the human element of all of this.
What do you mean by that?
Well, remember those independent operators we keep mentioning?
Yeah.
They're not just faceless entities. They're real people who have invested their time, energy, and resources into building businesses within the grocery outlet ecosystem. And these system issues haven't just been a logistical headache.
Right.
They've created real stress and frustration for these operators.
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the numbers and the strategic maneuvering, but at the end of the day, this is about people's livelihoods, their dreams, their ability to provide for their families.
Exactly. And Grocery Outlet acknowledged this during the Q&A.
I think.
They emphasize their commitment to supporting their operators, to working collaboratively to address their concerns, and to ensuring that they have the tools and resources they need to thrive.
It's a reminder that even in the world of high finance and corporate earnings calls, there's a human story at the heart of it all.
Absolutely. And that human element is something we should always keep in mind as we analyze these situations. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about some of the financial highlights from the quarter.
Okay, so beyond the drama of the tech issues and the leadership transition, what are the key numbers investors should be paying attention to?
Well, despite the challenges, Grocery Outlet managed to deliver double-digit revenue growth.
Oh, okay.
Which is a testament to the resilience of their model and the strength of their customer base. Their same-store sales were also positive,
Okay.
although not as robust as in previous quarters, which is understandable given the circumstances.
So there are signs of strength amidst the turmoil, which is encouraging.
Exactly. They're not out of the woods yet, but they're demonstrating that their core business remains solid.
Okay.
Now, on the profitability front, things were a bit more mixed.
Okay.
Their gross margins were down slightly, which is likely due to a combination of factors,
Right.
including those pricing decisions we discussed earlier,
Right.
and perhaps some increased costs associated with those system issues.
So it seems like they're navigating a complex web of challenges, trying to balance growth, profitability,
Yeah.
and the need to maintain their value proposition amidst a backdrop of system issues and a leadership transition.
It's definitely a lot to juggle, and the coming quarters will be crucial in determining whether they can successfully execute their turnaround plan and emerge from this period of turbulence stronger than ever.
All right. So as we wrap up part 2 of this deep dive, what are your key takeaways for listeners? What should they be watching for as this story continues to unfold?
Well, I think the main thing to remember is that this is a company in transition. They're facing some significant headwinds, but they're also taking steps to address those challenges and refocus on their core strengths. Pay close attention to their progress on resolving those system issues,
Right.
their ability to maintain their value proposition, and their overall financial performance in the coming quarters. Those will be the key indicators of whether they're on the right track.
Great advice.
Good.
And before we move on, I just want to remind everyone once again that this is not financial advice. We're just two podcast enthusiasts sharing our thoughts and observations.
Absolutely. Always do your own research, consult with a financial professional, and make informed decisions based on your individual circumstances.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Grocery Outlet's Q3 earnings call.
Yeah.
As we've been dissecting this call,
Yeah.
it's become clear that Grocery Outlet is at a pivotal moment in its journey. They're grappling with internal challenges,
Right.
facing fierce competition, and trying to adapt to a rapidly changing consumer landscape.
Yeah.
So let's step back and consider the bigger picture here. What does Grocery Outlet's story tell us about the broader trends shaping the grocery industry?
That's a great question. And I think there's several key takeaways here.
Okay.
First, it highlights the increasing importance of technology in the grocery sector. We often think of grocery shopping as this traditional brick and mortar experience.
Right.
But behind the scenes, there's a complex web of technology driving everything.
Yeah.
From inventory management to pricing to supply chain logistics.
Okay.
And as Grocery Outlet's experience has shown, getting that technology right is absolutely crucial.
It's like the plumbing of the entire operation.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily see it, but if it's not working properly, the whole system breaks down.
Exactly. And I think we'll see more and more grocery companies investing heavily in technology in the coming years,
Mm.
whether it's to optimize their supply chains,
Okay.
personalize the shopping experience, or compete more effectively with online giants like Amazon.
It's almost like an arms race to
Yeah.
see who can leverage technology most effectively to gain an edge in this increasingly competitive market.
Absolutely. And another key takeaway from Grocery Outlet's story is the enduring power of value.
All
For
right.
years, we've heard predictions that the discount grocery segment would fade away as consumers prioritize convenience and premium experiences.
Hmm.
But Grocery Outlet's performance, even amidst their challenges, suggests that there's still a strong demand for bargain hunting,
Right.
especially in an economic climate where inflation is squeezing household budgets.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
People are always looking for ways to stretch their dollars further, and grocery shopping is one of those areas where they can really feel the impact of rising prices. So
Mhm.
so a company like Grocery Outlet with its treasure hunt model and deep discounts is well positioned to appeal to that value conscious consumer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that focus on value will continue to be a winning strategy in the grocery space, even as consumer preferences evolve. We've seen even traditional grocery chains like Kroger and Albertsons stepping up their discount game, offering more private label products
Okay.
and competing more aggressively on price. So Grocery Outlet isn't alone in this space, but their unique model and deep experience give them a certain advantage.
It's like they've been playing this game for decades.
Yeah.
They know the rules inside and out,
Yeah.
and they have a loyal customer base that trusts them to deliver those bargains.
Precisely. Now, another trend that Grocery Outlet story highlights is the importance of the human element.
Right.
We often talk about the grocery industry in terms of logistics, technology, and pricing strategies.
Hmm.
But at its core, it's a people-driven business, and Grocery Outlet's relationship with its independent operators is a prime example of that.
It's like a symbiotic relationship.
Sure.
Like Grocery Outlet provides the framework, the brand recognition, and the buying power,
Mm-hmm.
while the operators bring the local expertise, the customer relationships, and the entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly. And I think that model has a lot of potential,
Yeah.
especially as consumers seek out more personalized and community-focused shopping experiences. We've seen a resurgence of interest in supporting local businesses.
Right.
And Grocery Outlet's model, with its network of independent operators, taps into that trend in a unique way.
It's like a hybrid approach, blending the scale and efficiency of a national chain with the local touch and community connection of independent businesses.
Exactly. And I think that could be a winning formula for the future of grocery, especially as consumers seek out a balance between convenience, value, and that sense of community.
So as we reflect on Grocery Outlet's journey, we see not only a company in transition,
Right.
but also a microcosm of the broader trends shaping the grocery industry.
Right.
From the rise of technology to the enduring power of value to the importance of the human touch.
It's a fascinating case study, and I'm eager to see how Grocery Outlet navigates the challenges and opportunities ahead. They're a company with a rich history, a unique model, and a loyal following. If they can successfully execute their turnaround plan and adapt to the evolving landscape, they could be a real force to be reckoned with in the years to come.
Well said. And now as we wrap up this deep dive, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. This is not financial advice segment.
Oh boy, here we go.
Where we unleash our inner wild speculators and explore the outer limits of possibility.
I'm both excited and terrified to see what you've come up with this time.
Okay, so let's imagine, just for fun, that Lindberg's back to basics approach works flawlessly.
Okay.
Grocery Outlet's tech issues vanish.
Mm-hmm.
Their value proposition shines brighter than ever, and their store expansion plans kick into overdrive.
Right.
They become the undisputed king of discount grocery shopping,
Mm-hmm.
with a nationwide network of stores, a thriving community of independent operators, and a loyal customer base that stretches from coast to coast.
Okay, I'm following you so far. Paint me a picture. What happens next?
Well, here's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine that a company like Costco, known for its bulk buying power and its loyal membership base, sees Grocery Outlet as the perfect complement to its existing business model.
Okay.
They realize that by acquiring grocery outlet,
Hmm.
they could tap into a new segment of the market,
Yeah.
offering their members even more ways to save money and access unique products.
Now that's an intriguing scenario. Costco has been incredibly successful with its warehouse club model, but they've never really ventured into the traditional grocery space. Acquiring grocery outlet could give them a foothold in that market without having to build it from scratch.
Exactly. They could
Yeah.
they could leverage grocery outlets' existing infrastructure, its brand recognition, and its relationships with independent operators to quickly scale up their grocery offerings and reach a wider audience. It could be a match made in retail heaven.
It's certainly a bold prediction, but I can see the strategic logic behind it. Both companies have a strong focus on value.
Right.
They both cater to a membership-based model in a sense,
Yeah.
and they both have a reputation for offering unique and surprising products.
Right. And imagine the possibilities Costco members could get exclusive discounts at grocery outlet stores. They could access special bulk buying deals on grocery outlets, treasure hunt items, and they could even see some of those unique grocery outlet products popping up in Costco warehouses. It could be a win-win for both companies and for consumers.
I mean, it's definitely a long shot, but as we've seen throughout this deep dive, grocery outlet has a knack for defying expectations. So who knows? Maybe this wild speculation could actually come true.
Exactly. But once again, and I can't emphasize this enough, this is purely hypothetical.
Yeah.
Please don't make any investment decisions based on our whimsical musing.
We're just having a little fun here, exploring the possibilities. Always do your own research, consult with a financial professional, and make informed decisions based on your individual circumstances.
All right, listeners, that concludes our deep dive into Grocery Outlet's Q3 earnings call. We've covered a lot of ground from leadership changes and tech challenges to value propositions and wild acquisition scenarios.
It has been a ride.
But most importantly, we've gained a deeper understanding of this fascinating company and its place in the ever evolving grocery landscape.
It's been a pleasure joining you on this journey, and remember, even amidst the chaos and uncertainty of the market, there are always opportunities for those who know where to look.
Until next time, happy investing.